This episode of Variant is brought to you by Audible.com. Today on Variant, I talk about 5 comic books that need their own TV series. Welcome to Variant, where we love comics more than the Joker loves pissing off Batman. I'm your host, Arris. There have been lots of live-action comic book-based TV shows over the years, like The Hulk, Wonder Woman, Smallville, and more recent ones like S.H.I.E.L.D. and Arrow, just to name a few. Then we also have ones in the works like Flash, and a series based on Jim Gordon's early years in Gotham. But there's still a huge amount of untapped comic book characters and series that would make great TV shows, and today I'm giving you 5 I think would make awesome TV series. So listen up, TV networks, and take my ideas. If you want them, that is. Kicking this list off in no particular order, we have Scott Snyder's The Wake. For those of you who watched the episode where I talked about the best comics of 2013, you know this is one of the comics that made my list. And it's also making this list for this week's episode because the comic has everything it needs to make for good television. Action, suspense, good character arcs, and a great concept. Plus, Scott Snyder needs to be part of a TV series. The guy's just a writing beast. The comic is about a marine biologist who is approached by the Department of Homeland Security for help with a new threat. They then take her to a secret underwater oil rig miles under the Arctic Circle, where they show her and several other experts in particular fields a terrifying creature they just discovered. And of course, something goes wrong and the awesomeness begins. The best way to describe this comic and how it would work as a TV series would be to say, imagine the movie Alien and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea had a baby. Just imagine that being a TV show, an underwater sci-fi epic that has sea monster creature thingies trying to kill the crew members. And if they stuck close to the comic, the show would have awesome cliffhanger endings at the end of every episode. And characters we would care more about with every episode. Now you tell me you wouldn't want to watch a TV show like that, and I say, I don't believe you. My next pick is Runaways. Runaways isn't your conventional superhero book, but then again, the brilliant writer Brian K. Vaughan isn't known for being conventional, as proven with some of his other comics like Y the Last Man and Saga. But not being the norm is what makes this comic so good and refreshing, as he takes normal concepts and ideas and explores them a little more by not taking the traditional approach. Runaways is about a group of kids who find out their parents are some of the world's worst supervillains, and their life takes a huge turn. In the comic, they find out they've been living under an umbrella of lies and learn they themselves inherit their parents' powers. Shocked, the teens find strength in one another. Together, they run away from home, vowing to turn the tables on their evil legacy, becoming the team known as the Runaways. The comic has a diverse cast of characters varying from witches, aliens, all the way to mutants. So much like some of my other picks, the comic has so much story and characters to play with to make a great TV show. Plus, having a TV show based around young superheroes would be cool, since seeing how young kids deal with superpowers is always interesting. And one of the best aspects is Spider-Man. I don't know why I felt the need to mention Spider-Man, but oh well, moving on. A comic character that would make for a fantastic TV series would be Deadpool. Deadpool is definitely a fan favorite of the comic book world, so giving him his own TV series, I think, would be a really smart move. More importantly, though, I just selfishly want him to have his own show. But in order to do Deadpool justice, a Deadpool TV show would have to be on a network like HBO or Showtime, where they can get away with all that bloody violence that is Deadpool. Can you imagine how hilarious that show would be, since Deadpool breaks the fourth wall all the time? Much like he's self-aware he's in a comic book, he would be self-aware he was in a TV show, and that would be amazing. Plus, since he's a mercenary, the show could have a military-type feel where he's always sent out on different missions, but you can get real crazy with it and fun, since it is Deadpool after all. Then, of course, sooner or later in the series, you could have guest appearances with characters like Cable and Wolverine. The show would just be an awesome action comedy, and if done with the right approach and writers, keeping the sense of humor, love for weapons, and chimichangas, it could be one of the best comic book-based TV shows ever made. The next comic book series I would love to see made into a TV show is 5 Ghosts: The Haunting of Fabian Gray. This is a fairly new comic that was actually just supposed to be a 5-issue miniseries, but was so well received, Image Comics made it into an ongoing monthly title. The series is a pulp action-adventure comic with one of the best original concepts I've seen in a long time. After a tragic encounter with an artifact known as the Dreamstone, infamous treasure hunter Fabian Gray was possessed by 5 literary ghosts: the wizard, the archer, the detective, the samurai, and the vampire, and now has been granted access to their unique powers and abilities. But of course, these powers also come with a price. So a show where a guy is haunted by 5 ghosts and because of this has their powers would definitely be one of the coolest TV shows out. I mean, it's already a comic and one of the best comics out in my opinion because of the concept and good writing. So imagine if they got writer Frank Barbary to help write the episodes, much like Robert Kirkman does for the Walking Dead series. Plus, if made into a TV series, it would appeal to so many different people, as the show has so much to offer, like fantasy, adventure, action, comedy, magic, and so on. It also has an Indiana Jones type vibe, and basically everyone loves Indiana Jones, so all I'm saying is this show where a guy has the powers of a wizard, archer, detective, samurai, and a vampire and gets into all sorts of shenanigans and adventures would be glorious. And my last pick for a comic or comic character that should get their own TV series is none other than Nightwing. Just think of all the possibilities and cameos you could have in the show. Because Dick Grayson is already Nightwing, that means characters like Red Robin, Damian Wayne, Red Hood, Batgirl, and so on could all already exist and could make cameos within the show. And I don't know about you, but a Nightwing Red Hood team-up episode would be one of the coolest things to hit TV, ever. We would also get to see a lot more of Dick Grayson's dealings with Haley Circus since he became owner of this circus in the comics. They could translate that to the show, which would also add a bunch of cool characters. And on very rare occasions, we could have brief cameos of Batman himself, or even do like flashback episodes where we see Grayson as Robin fighting crime alongside of Batman. And then they could even show how he became Robin and what led to him leaving Batman's side to become Nightwing. There's just so many things you could do with this show, and being that Nightwing is one of the most popular characters in comics, people would tune in like crazy, especially if done right. And lastly, I don't think the show should be called Nightwing. I think it should simply be called Grayson, since it would just follow the adventures of Dick Grayson in general. Yes, I like this idea. Networks, please make this happen. Audible.com is the leading provider of downloadable digital audiobooks and spoken word entertainment. Audible has over 100,000 titles to choose from to be downloaded to your iPod MP3 player and played back anywhere, anytime. Choose from books in every genre: science fiction, thrillers, drama, comedy, business, history, and more. Joe Hill's novel Horns is actually on there, which is one of my favorite books from Joe Hill. So go to audible.com/variant to get a free audiobook download of your choice when you sign up today. Did you know ankle tracking monitors that are most commonly used for people under house arrest were inspired by a Spider-Man newspaper strip? A New Mexico District Court judge was reading the Spider-Man strip and saw in it that Kingpin captured Spider-Man and put an electronic radar device on his wrist to track where he goes. The judge loved the idea so much he contacted a computer programmer friend to develop the idea. The invention started as an electronic handcuff, but eventually morphed into the ankle tracking monitor Shia LaBeouf's character hated so much in Disturbia. First up for Wednesday, February 12th, we have Superior Spider-Man issue 27. The Superior Spider-Man has failed. Under his watch, the Green Goblin took control of New York's underground. Now it's up to him to take the Goblin down. Next, we have Deadpool issue 23, Deadpool vs. S.H.I.E.L.D. Part 3. One helicarrier full of troops and one deadly creature intent on killing them all. And that creature is Deadpool. Now we have Justice League of America issue 12. A devastating battle against Despero begins as Manhunter and Stargirl arrive in San Francisco to save Stargirl's family from Firestorm's fallout. And finally, we have Batman issue 28. This special flash-forward issue of Batman offers a glimpse into the future of Gotham City and gives readers a taste of what to expect when Batman Eternal launches later this year. Well, that brings another episode of Variant to a close, but let us know in the comment section down below what comic book-based TV shows you would like to see, since there are a ton of more comic book and comic book-based characters that would have great TV shows. And remember, you can always like our Variant Facebook page to keep up with the show and all things comic related. You can also follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Arris_Quinones. But I will see you all next week when I talk about all things comics.
You look frozen. Are you alive? Did you die? Come back to me, Arris!
Whoa! That was weird.